it's about this new climate report that came out a couple of days ago. And like yesterday evening, I just suddenly felt like a big sadness of that it is actually, coming now, all these things. It's not in the future, it's now.
Yeah.
So, so I thought maybe go through that one because, it's a stressful thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's actually coming now. Is it true?
Yeah.
And can you absolutely know it's true? It's actually coming now. Climate change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saw the report. So how do you react when you think it's actually coming now?
I feel both fear and I feel sadness. I'm thinking of the comfortable life that I'm having where I am here in the north. And I'm thinking of the Ukraine war, where people were also having a comfortable life and then it changed. So I see, okay, I mean, it's possible here too. Things can change. And I'm in the part of my life where I'm like, getting older and been through all this with children and career and stuff like that. And but I'm thinking of the children of my child, who's 27 years old. She hasn't got any children yet, but my nephew and niece has children, and I really see, this is happening, and it is happening for them. And I also feel a kind of a sadness because us human beings, we have known about this for a long time. And even now, people don't really take it seriously. A lot of people around me, anyway. I mean, still, the politicians, they just keep talking and talking out in the, well, then we're going to be, in 2040 or something like that. And okay, 2040, 2050. It's going to be too late. I mean, we're not here there. It's not possible. So I get sad for us people, us human beings, that we can't see it and can't. It's like it's not. It's an ability that we don't have. Somehow, I see it. And mostly I just feel this sadness, this sadness that I think that the sadness is mostly about this because I think the planet will still be here and, everything will still, but it will be so changed. And our life will be changed and there will be wars, people moving, and not this comfortable life that I have had. The privilege of having up here. Yeah. So I fear the future. I fear the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you notice any sensations or feelings in your body?
It's like a sadness in the chest, and a heaviness, and like, yeah, giving up somehow. It's like giving up, and I can't be present. I can't be present in what's now in my life, what's going on now. Yeah. And of course, I can't see that it is actually not possible to look into the future. It isn't really possible. I mean, we can see that this will happen, but things could be a little bit different than what we see. So it might not be that complete scenario. Yeah.
Yeah. So, who would you be when you hear this report on the climate and you didn't think for sure this is actually coming now, or if you weren't as caught up in that story that it's actually coming now, who would you be if you weren't holding it so tightly?
It's very difficult because, they talk about 2030, and that is 7 years' time. So,
Right.
but who would I be without the story? What first comes to me is that I would be ignorant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can go there. Yeah. And I think it's important when answering this question we're not saying that it's not true. We're just saying, who would you be if you were not wrapped up in this story?
Well, of course, when I hear the report, I just hear it and then I see, okay, but this is now. I mean, this is now. But it is only like yesterday evening that I suddenly got this fear and this feeling of sadness. So mostly when I hear it, it's okay. We know that. I mean, we know that for a long time. I have a daughter who has a degree in climate change, so we've been talking a lot about it, and I've been reading books, so we know, and so I think that without the thought, I'm still having it a bit at a distance. I think yesterday it just came to me, really. It's now.
Mm-hmm.
Without the thought. I think that without the fear, it's more just seeing, what's going on and what can happen, and we see it already around the globe there. And I think somehow I embrace myself more for change. Things are going to change.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to stay the same.
Yeah. So with the thought, it's more resistant to change, or sadness that it's going to change. And without the thought, more getting ready for a change that is coming.
Yeah.
It like reminds me of, if I was close to dying, I could say, oh my gosh, it's actually coming now. And it could be very fearful if I'm resisting that. But if I don't think of it as a bad thing, then I'm preparing myself to change in that way, to move into a different, whatever that is, in death.
It's funny that you say that, because I actually have the same feeling as, my parents died, my father, latest my father. And this feeling of that that he died and there's nothing I can do about it. It happened. I can't do anything about it. And I got the same feeling with this. It's happening. There's nothing I can do about it. Yeah.
Exactly. So that feeling, it's a feeling of powerlessness in a way. There's nothing I can do about it. When I'm resisting it, when I'm wishing it would stay the same, then I feel powerless. I feel that anxiety. But if I'm not resisting it, if I'm surrendered to it, I'm still powerless, but it doesn't feel like anxiety. It feels, I'm open.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's so interesting. We're dealing with something factual. We're dealing with something real, and we're questioning it, but we're seeing how I hold that thing, whether I'm holding it like this, or I'm holding it like pushing it away, or something where I'm trying to change it, or whether I'm just holding it and open to where it goes, makes all the difference in my experience.
That's true.
So how could we turn the thought around? It's actually coming now. And what I'm thinking about is, how can we turn around the way we're holding it?
So it's like it's actually coming now. And how would you turn that around?
I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, how could we turn it around that would not try to pretend that it's not happening, but at the same time would be a more peaceful way of experiencing it.
Yeah. So it's not sorry, so it's not like saying it's actually not coming now. It's actually coming now. I don't know really how to move on with it.
Maybe something like, it's actually coming now, and it's okay.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's okay because it cannot be stopped. So it's a fact. I'm not in power here. It's actually coming now. It's okay. Well, also, it's okay in the sense that there will be changes, but I don't know what changes. I don't know how it will affect me and my loved ones, which of course is the close ones to me. I don't know, of course, I mean, so many people are going to suffer in this, and but it's okay. Well, what comes to me is that it's okay because we need a change. I mean, us people need a change because we can't continue as it is. Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea?
It takes an open mind. It takes an open mind to find these examples. Yeah. And that's what I'm witnessing here is your open mind. You know, this is, how is it okay that something like this could happen? Something in a way catastrophic for the planet, something very strong. It's like us standing at death's door and saying, how's it okay that I die? We're asking a big question, and it requires an open mind to even consider that. But I'm hearing in your response exactly
well,
that.
You can say that when you're dying, the body is not working anymore. I mean, it's not possible to continue in the body. It's too old, it's too sick or something. And maybe you can put that on to the planet somehow, that that it is being too exploited, you know, with all the resources and our little, you know, headless way of or thoughtless way of living, and demanding that life should be going on like that.
Yeah. So nature says you can come this far, but no further. It's enough, and the balance has to come back the other way. So it may be nature's way of balancing things. When humans cannot, when they get out of control, then they get balanced somehow.
And that's a very,
and we don't know what that will look like.
And that's a very good way to see it, because it's not a punishment. I mean, it's nature. It's a nature law. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Like with the body, you know, when the organs stop functioning, I mean, you have to leave it.
Yeah. And there can be suffering in the body if the organs are not functioning, and death is coming, can be suffering sometimes. So it can be suffering in the world also, as this is whatever way is not working is dying. So all we're doing here is just considering different ways of looking at this, right? Ways that are less stressful to us. That's what we're looking at. And you can go to the actual opposite statement. It is actually coming now. And we could try the turnaround. It's not actually coming now. And we have to keep in mind that all likelihood it is. But since we're here, play with it. Is it actually coming now? Is there anything on that level that is not 100%?
Well, of course, I mean, 2030, and that's, where it just fell in. It's in 7 years' time. Not much in the planet's lifetime, but
Yeah.
it's not now. Yeah.
Right. It's now when you're talking of millions of years, it
Mm,
feels
mm,
like now.
mm.
Yes, 100%. But it's actually not right now. And what is the it? It is actually coming now. Do we know exactly what
Mm.
it will be?
Of course, what I have in my mind there is the picture of war, fight about food and places to be, and of course it's not now again, but it might not be in 7 years' time either. It might be in 20 years' time, or that things like that could happen. And it might not even happen at all. I mean, if there's atomic war, everything will go out immediately.
It's
Yeah.
possible, right? So when you really look at it, we don't really know exactly what will happen. We have images of fighting for food and
Yeah.
places to be, and that
Mm,
may happen.
mm,
It may not happen, right? There may be just an explosion and it's over, or it might be, I mean, even if could there be any alternative that turns out not to be war, even though food is completely
mm.
scarce? I don't know. Is it imaginable?
Somehow, where I live, it's like unimaginable that there could be war. Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
But then again, seeing Ukraine, so it's and other places, where war breaks out. It's suddenly from a
Mm.
peaceful life, there's war. Yeah.
It's certainly possible. You put people
Mm,
under enough stress and the war will break
mm,
out, right? It makes sense in a lot of ways. But it's not 100% sure because sometimes you put people under a lot of stress and they come together in some way or they find a different solution
mm,
or who knows. So all we
mm.
have, what we're saying here is all we have is probabilities and possibilities of what can happen, but we
Yeah.
don't know for sure. And what happens in the mind, because we're actually doing the work for our own internal experience when we're doing this work, what happens is the mind imagines something and then is suffering in it
Mm,
before it even happens.
mm,
We don't know for sure it will happen.
mm,
It might happen differently. Something is probably going to happen.
mm,
I don't know how or what, but the mind goes to those worst case scenarios and then gets really scared by those images. And now I'm suffering even
mm.
before it happens. So that this period of suffering is now longer than whatever is actually going to happen
That's
in
true.
the future.
Mm,
So it's like we don't have a lot of wiggle room, right? We have 7 years, maybe, but we'll take whatever wiggle
mm.
room we can get. Like, let me just postpone my suffering a little longer
Yeah.
until I cannot avoid it. We can even go closer and like, even if I am running out of food and there is war, even then it would be different work. But do I have to suffer? Suffer is an
Yeah.
internal thing. My body might be in pain, my body might be starving, my body might have problems, might be dying, but am I suffering? And for me, the suffering comes when I get caught up in the fearful story or the sad story or the powerless story
Mm.
about it. And that I have always some control over. That's something I can always work with or work on. And that can allow me to face anything, including my own death, including the death of our planet, if that happens, death of our species, whatever happens, it can allow me to face that in a more gentle or more peaceful way. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just means, how do I experience it? That's what we're doing when we do this work.
I really like this seeing that, that it's like being prepared to change. There's a change coming. Be prepared to that. Yeah.
That's all. Yeah. We're getting the signs and we're seeing the research. We're seeing it's coming. It's coming. Big change is coming. And okay, just be prepared. And don't be too surprised. And then if my mind is open in that way, I can meet change. And change is not always easy, but a lot of good can come from change too.